Hello everybody, I'm Tyler Segerman. A busy night in sports, let's get to it. In as little as 20 minutes, this aircraft can be prepped and ready to go. And once it gets to the location of the emergency, it's off, ready to go assist emergency personnel. They'll probably need a win, maybe two in the Big 12 tournament if they want to solidify their spot in March Madness. That head is 45 pounds, the equivalent of an adult-sized bulldog. And the gun twirling, well, as you can see, takes quite a bit of practice. When both these teams get together, one spot seems to ignite all the excitement: center court. Well, obviously a good early test this season. We'll see if Brad Underwood can keep this early success rolling. As the Cowboys prepare for its season opener next Friday in Arizona, they will need to replace some key gloves in the middle of the infield. As most of you have seen already, the Chippewas executed one of the most unexpected plays in college football history. The division that is taking place in our country right now also extends to our technology. It's popping up on computer screens, tablets, and smartphones, all thanks to social media.
Something to show you guys. Okay, don't laugh at me.
Social media has become the center of society, giving us the ability to write, share, post, and photograph whatever we desire. People can now connect socially with others from around the globe that otherwise wouldn't be a possibility. However, in a world full of people, it's hard to please everyone. And with these four networks leading the way, we now have the power to add our voice with one single click. Which begs the question, are we now sharing too much? During and after one of the most controversial presidential elections of our history, people turn to the web to voice his or her opinion. In turn, friends or followers now pick whether to agree or disagree based on personal values.
And we find our opinion leaders who think the way we think, or who we decide that they're thinking pretty much what I'm thinking, so I'm just going to listen to them and share their information because they can articulate it better than I can.
According to Rasmussen reports, 40% of likely U.S. voters feel the election had hurt a close relationship. It doesn't stop there. Employees are now being terminated due to his or her posts. According to Career Builder, 18% of employers say they've fired employees because of their use on social media.
That gratification they're getting from social media is leading them to do more and more on social media, and so I think that's probably why people are oversharing now more than they used to be.
So, how do we draw a line in a world that is as translucent as ever?
You also have to realize that your perspective, your understanding of life, is not the only perspective that's out there.
To help users stay out of that danger zone, it might be as simple as detaching. Dr. Nichols adds that, quote, "We need to put our phone down and go on a walk. We have to disconnect. We can't hyper-focus on things." So, no matter who uses what or what each user decides to selectively focus on, one thing is true. Social media is not going away, and it seems that a balance needs to be acknowledged to create a universal social law that everyone can agree upon. For O-State TV, I'm Tyler Segerman. Freshman Rachel Novak trains as she prepares to compete in her first meet as a member of the Oklahoma State track and field team. However, one summer day in 2014 forced her to adapt to something none of her teammates have to deal with. June 14th, her and a friend were on the back of a jet ski pulling a tube in Donna Bay near her hometown in Venice, Florida. As Novak wrapped the extra slack of rope around her wrist, the unexpected occurred.
We buckled up our seatbelt, and so we're going against traffic, like honking the horn. So we pull up to the hospital.
The driver of the jet ski took off without her knowing, throwing Novak into the water. As she arose to the surface, she could see blood. The force of the jet ski accelerating ripped Novak's left hand right off. Following Rachel's accident, she wasn't sure what her hand would look like or how she would be able to use it. Because the hand came completely off, initially they didn't have to do anything, but as her arm continued to grow, they actually had to cut back a few centimeters to relieve her of some pain. And as you can see, she has now learned to hold objects such as this water bottle with ease. She was expected to be in the hospital for a couple weeks, yet was released after just 5 days. On that 5th day, her love of sports and friendship brought Novak to Rock Solid Gym in St. Petersburg, where she recently started cheering. 3 days later, Novak was back on the mat, ready to begin a new chapter.
Even the day after she lost her hand, the only thing she was thinking about was getting back into the gym to be on a senior floor team. It was absolutely remarkable. We started very, very basic. We started with cartwheels. Over the course of the next 4 or 5 months, she She was able to do round-off back handsprings with one hand, round-off whips with one hand. It's got to be one of the best comeback stories I've ever been a part of.
Later that year, her dedication and heart earned her the ESPN Courage to Climb Award.
I kind of didn't really want it to stop me from anything I do. I mean, I love sports. It's like all throughout my life. And so I just kind of didn't let it stop me no matter what. It was just like, I didn't want anyone to treat me differently.
In fact, with the help of her friend, she named her stump Phil.
I love how she accepts it and how open she is about it, and it's just an awesome quality about her.
Either on her car or through social media, Novak embraces the absence of her left hand and enjoys having a little fun with it.
She's definitely the kind of person that makes you appreciate life more. She's always motivating people and lifts you up no matter what's going on.
Her urge for cheerleading ended when she got to OSU, but one sport still lay heavy in her heart. After recently recovering from shin splints, Novak is ready to excel past a new milestone. The walk-on is cleared to run on all surfaces and hopes to compete in middle distance at a Tulsa meet over spring break. For O State TV, I'm Tyler Segerman. Hi everyone. We begin today at GAA because one team that simply can't stop winning is Cowboy basketball. And things didn't change in Manhattan as Jawan Evans put on another show, including this sweet buzzer beater to end the half. He led the team with 21 points and 9 assists. Pokes win one going away 80-68. Saturday, Jeffrey Carroll jumped on the train shooting 55% from the field. He finished with 17 points and is showing everybody why he should be considered Big 12's most improved player. It goes without saying that these are some great days for Cowboy basketball, and it's been worth the wait. When the team struggled the past few years, the crowd began to dwindle. Now that the Cowboys have a new coach and one of the hottest teams in the country, the fan base has fully jumped back on board to support them. Austin Ivan has more on how the rowdy crowd in GAA has not only helped the team play well, but also how it's impacted the Stillwater community. The Countdown to Tip-Off crew will be live from Mojo's in Stillwater. I'll be there with Richard, as well as Amelia Henderson and Nick Ramsey. Our show's at 3, tip-off for the game is 5, so you have plenty of time to come join us at Mojo's. After finishing its Arizona trip with an impressive 18-4 victory over the 19th-ranked Sun Devils, the Pokes came back to Stillwater. Friday turned into a glorious homecoming as the Cowboys put up 7 in the third inning. However, Texas State wouldn't go away easy, scoring 7 unanswered runs to cut the deficit to 1. Junior college transfer Travis Wacker seals the win with his single to right, driving in 2, and extending Coach Holliday's perfect home opener record to 6-0. Wacker was awarded Big 12 Newcomer of the Week honors yesterday. On Saturday, the opposite occurred as sophomore Jensen Elliott surrendered 7 runs in the first 4 innings. The Cowboys would eventually tie it up in the 8th. The Bobcat Derek Schiebel hits a blooper to right. Freshman Cade Cabanis overthrows his target, allowing the go-ahead run to score. Texas State would add another to go up 2. With a tying run at third, Blake Walden gets Dustin Williams a strikeout, evening the series at 1. The rubber match went in favor of the Cowboys as JC transfer Jake Cohen was lights out. He struck out 6 in 4 innings, earning his first victory at OSU. Big 12 Player of the Week Garrett Benj led the offensive attack with 3 RBIs and 2 hits. With the series win, the Pokes are now 4-3 on the season and ranked 24th according to Baseball America. Up next is a 1-game stint at home versus the Billikens, and then it's off to Texas for a tournament in Frisco. From the East Coast to the West Coast, the Cowgirls continue to sit around 500. Following a 2-win afternoon on Thursday, Coach Gajewski's squad lost 2 of the last 3, falling to a record of 8-11 on the year. Now, softball finally gets to come home, and it's for a while. They have an 8-game homestand beginning with Arkansas on Wednesday and hosting the Mizuno Classic over the weekend. And O State TV will broadcast the softball home opener on March 1st, live from Cowgirl Stadium, starting at 5:30 p.m. That should be a great Big 12 SEC matchup against Arkansas. Tyler Segerman. We begin where we left off at the end of last semester, with a divided country. Perhaps the most notable was to temporarily ban immigrants and travelers from 7 terror hotspots. This order has since been lifted by a federal judge. Education was one of the primary topics during Governor Fallon's State of the State address on Monday. Fallon wants to increase teacher pay and ensure that all public schools return to a 5-day school week. This while the state continues to deal with a projected $868 million budget shortfall. To increase state revenues, the governor hopes to increase taxes on cigarettes, gasoline, and online sales. And she still hopes to eliminate the grocery tax and the corporate income tax. Fallon's goals also include spending more money on public safety and improving the state's health care system. Also, as the semester begins, we are mourning the loss of another member of the Cowboy family. You probably saw him around campus when he ran for SGA president last year. Normally when you attend an art show, you see the end result of a painter's work. Notice I said normally. Imagine attending a show where spectators got to talk with the artist as they were creating a new work of art. We'll see you next time on O State TV.